have you seen the recent activities in Sweden? Of course we have. Nuria, have you heard that? Have you heard about what's been happening?
Yes,
I
somebody was actually kind enough to send me videos with a couple of updates because I hadn't
yeah.
come across it myself. But yeah, exactly. I got this. Yeah, I've seen this.
Yes, it's a pretty bad video. As you can see, how peaceful Islam is being demonstrated here by a very peaceful behavior of certain individuals. So these people are, I don't know, whoever they are, they obviously they have allegiances to a religion rather than the country. Either they were born here, or they migrated to or sought asylum here. They have absolutely no regard and respect for this country. These are taxpayers' um, um, property, and they've funded this, and they've set them alight. They've yeah, look at this. This is bad, and we'll give you a bit of context of what.
Demolishing public property like that.
Yes, and Nuria, and then they don't expect to be brought to justice. This will be called Islamophobia. This already is being called Islamophobia.
When
Why?
it's prosecuting them for normal things like criminal damage, property damage.
Yes, but they're saying why did you not stop this guy, this far right Finnish political activist? He burnt a copy of the Quran. So anyway,
that's what started this. Everything that what you've just seen. This is the initial event that led to all of that.
Yeah. So now there's third night of unrest in Sweden over far right anti-Islam rally. I love it how they say far right anti-Islam rally. But that's the problem. Yeah. This is Nuria. This is the problem. That these kind of things are only being done by far right activists. I mean, well, I actually wonder what they would say if you and I decided to burn the Quran. It probably wouldn't make the news because AP ate the Quran. I think Mariam Namazi has. Amin Nawabi burnt the Quran, but it'd be funny calling him far right.
Yeah,
but I wonder what they would actually say. How would they spin it? They would just try to stay out of it.
No, even if they don't say far right, they would definitely say they would definitely try and use like racism, Islamophobia, or purely anti-Muslim bigotry. The guy hates Muslims without saying far right, because you can still be, exactly. But you in their eyes, you can also be an ex-Muslim and not care about Muslim rights.
I reckon it's tricky because I think that's why they have stepped short of even calling Ayaan Hirsi Ali. I think Ayaan Hirsi Ali has been called anti-Muslim bigot, but not a lot of other ex-Muslims, even Yasmin, and some people have used really strong language. I think, and Ayaan only got in trouble because when she misspoke about how she said that these hardliners, and she said something like they should be nuked or something. Given the choice, if that was the worst possible option, then she said she would do it, something like that. So that was again she misspoke, and again she hasn't been labeled as an anti-Muslim bigot, or because it's very difficult. These titles are only reserved for white people with white skin. That's the advantage that you and I have, and that's one of the reasons why the West doesn't actually get involved in Indian matters as well, with whatever is happening between Muslims and the Hindus, because they're both brown people. It's not a white man's problem.
But I do think I have to disagree a little bit. I just do think we still would. That's why we have to keep on saying over and over and over and over and over again that there's a big difference between bashing Islam and bashing Muslims, and we have to keep, every time we speak, we literally give that disclaimer. If you make one wrong move, and for example, I wouldn't go and burn the Quran, because like that could have like the negative repercussions of trying to connect with these people we're trying to obviously connect with. But I know for sure if I did that, they wouldn't hesitate to brand me all of those things, whether it's far right or an anti-Muslim bigot, despite saying over and over again that my closest loved ones are Muslims and I would never, stand for anything against them. That would go in a second. They would weaponize that one moment and you would be labeled that. is what I personally think.
Yeah, I don't know. I think time will tell, but I still reckon they could have used that against us because they do want a lot of the Muslim YouTubers and all the so-called Muslim propagandists that they do want us to be labeled as Islamophobes and all that, but it's not sticking. So far, all these attacks that we see are for far right people who actually have very anti-liberal values. But anyway, we can't really say anything conclusively. So unrest broke out in southern Sweden late on Saturday, despite police moving a rally by an anti-Islam far-right group, which was planning to burn a Quran, among other things, to a new location as a preventive measure. So they moved it. So they probably got all these threats and everything. So scuffles and unrest were reported in the southern town of Landskrona after a demonstration scheduled there by the Danish right-wing Stram Kurs party was moved to the nearby city of Malmö, 27 miles south. And sorry, I said Finnish, I think it's Danish. Okay, sorry, I was wrong earlier. Opponents of Stram Kurs, numbering up to 100, mostly young people, threw stones, set cars, tires, and dustbins on fire and put up a barrier fence that obstructed traffic, Swedish police said. The situation had calmed down in Landskrona by late Saturday, but remains tense, police said, adding no injuries were reported. So yeah, we shared exactly the similar kind of a news story last year as well. I don't know, Nuri, if you remember, or you were. I don't know if you were part of the show at that point or not.
Probably wasn't.
Yeah, so it happened in the past as well, and it looks like it was the same guy. He had managed to successfully burn the Quran, and then the video went viral, and then a couple of days later, violent protests erupted there. It was in Sweden. There you go. This
Okay.
one. The second video: Sweden riots, burning of the Quran in Sweden, Islamist trouble in Europe. So that video had 27,000 views. So I think this part is gonna go. It's gonna be a terror attack in Sweden. This was the guy. This is what David Wood has uploaded the video as well. This is the guy. He actually did burn the Quran, so he did succeed in burning the Quran. But I was saying also, this is again, I want your thoughts on that, because you said that maybe we would still be labeled as Islamophobes if we burnt the Quran. But there are some ex-Muslims who have burnt the Quran, but Muslims have not reacted or responded the way they react when a far right-wing, white nationalist, etc., burns the Quran. What don't you think? Don't you see that even Muslims react differently to a white supremacist versus us? You reckon there's a little bit of they still see us? Oh, these are our misguided kids. They say, okay, we're just going to ignore them. What is it? I don't know. Why? I know Apostle Prophet gets a lot of stick for cops. You know, he cops it, but Amin Nawabi and Apostle Prophet, David Wood, those videos did go very viral. A lot, you know, they gathered a lot of views, and pretty much internationally. But this guy, we don't know him outside. I'm sure outside of the Scandinavian countries, not a lot of people know about this political party or this guy. But then, you know, all hell breaks loose. Do you think that could be there could be a different behavior from Muslims as well? That when an outsider attacks them, they feel a bit more. They feel the need to, yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely, because they come from like they're essentially both far right movements within themselves, right? Like Islam is far right in itself. So that is literally the definition of their enemy, even according to Islam. So going up against them is literally dealing with taking the kafir, so to speak, head on, and the most like racist and bigoted of kafir that they think. So there's obviously a different like reaction with that. And again, this is talking about like burning the Quran or desecrating the Quran or eating it, or chewing it, whatever you're doing, rolling a joint with it. All these people are doing this on.
You just gave the idea.
It's been done with the Bible. I don't know how good it is though.
No, that's one way to get stoned.
that's oh my gosh, yeah.
No pun intended.
But anyway, that this incident is obviously, when it happens in public, what garners a whole different response. These are still people doing it on like their like private platforms, even though they are public platforms. So the reaction is very much different. But I would be scared either way, because there was that documentary, I think, like revisiting the Salman Rushdie affair after 20 years. And there's a Muslim presenter, I think he's gay, don't quote me on that, but there's a Muslim presenter, and could still like identifies as Muslim, but also like very kind of open-minded and not so dogmatic. So he was just out in the streets with the Quran and mentioned something about Salman Rushdie. And even that, that man he acted as if he was absolutely okay with it, and then he just went round the fountain again and snatched the Quran out of his hand, and it turned like quite like violent if the guy didn't stop him and say. And obviously the cameras and security and stuff was there, but they would turn on. My personal humble opinion is that the reason I like this, we are in such dangerous waters. Like, we are one wrong sentence away from being labeled any of those things, especially by our own people, because also remember, they want to carve this space out, and they want to cast you off as one of the far right, or they want to cast you off as playing into the hands of the so-called enemy. And they don't want to give this, because it's honestly scary to them. Like, even the people around me are like, well, you've left Islam. But I go downstairs and I'm like, oh, this is happening to Muslims. I'm definitely going to talk about this today. And they're actually like, whoa, like you hate Islam, but you care about us so much. You're speaking out against, wait, you call out both sides? Like, that actually is scary, because they're like, oh, maybe we should be thinking along those lines for the more progressive ones. But the fact that we also have to like make it like this is such a normal part of what we stand for. And that's why I hate it when people say atheism is like this whole ideology in itself. No, it's not. And I've actually had to like cut ties with a couple of people I was planning collaborations with, because they genuinely think atheism is like some dirty ideology that led to like communism and all these things. And they've just lumped them all in together without trying to understand that it's not. But yeah, my opinion is that it is dangerous territory, even from our own people.
Of course it is, but yeah, this is a video you were referring to. Listen to this one. This is funny. Come on, Neen.
So what you meant when you said where you from? You meant, are you Muslim, didn't you? That's what you meant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So would it make a difference if I was Muslim? I mean, I am Muslim, but you think as a Muslim I shouldn't be holding the book?
No. Let me see what the.
Will you read this?
Yeah.
And will you tell me what you think?
Yeah. I will.
You're not gonna get angry.
He's acting so well.
Yeah.
There we go.
Wives,
I'm
12
calm.
Old lady, long dead. How many whores behind the curtain? 12 again.
Does that mean anything to you?
He's gonna go crazy. What? Uncle.
He's
Yeah.
burning up inside.
Devil worshipper.
The curtain
Devil worshipper.
is the curtain on the day of judgment that is lifted.
Yeah.
When you go to Thingay, and the
Thingay.
whores at the end, the wives, the Muslim is up in heaven.
That makes
Is that what he's talking about?
Yeah.
Come and talk to me. Why are you running off?
You need educated, brother.
I need education. Come and
Educated
talk
brother.
to educate me then. The author said it's a
Educated
critique
brother.
of religion.
He's gonna come
Let's
back.
see how he educates
There we
him.
go. Oh!
He came back to educate him.
Come on, then. You fucking bastard.
Oh,
Come on, then.
Ooh, you want chum? I'll give it ya.
Fuck you. See the book.
Ah!
No, see the book, no. Come on, then.
Come on.
Fuck you. You're gonna burn this book.
You're the bonus booker.
Fuck off, it's about a profit. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck you. Come on, let's see.
Look at
Come on, right now.
Oh, this is rude boy. Come on, boy. Rude boy. Oh, shut up,
I'm
innit?
gonna do bullshit with you. You can record it, you can put it over BBC Media.
BBC Media, innit?
I don't care.
Muslim girl, yeah?
I'm not Muslim ghetto. I'm from down the road. I'm from Huddersfield.
Huddersfield?
I'm a
You
Muslim.
go to a Muslim populated area, trying to say shit about
Yeah, I'm a
about
Muslim.
prophets.
Coming to a Muslim public area, the audacity.
You think it's reasonable?
Are you
for
kidding
someone to
me?
start ripping it up?
Yeah, they can. They can.
Muslim.
If you feel offended, you can burn the book. But the question is, what are you going to do about it then?
Oh, then what are you going to do about it? Throw that right back in their face. If you're
No,
a
he
friend,
got-
burn the
he-
book.
he-
What are you going to do about it?
He was about to say freedom of speech, but then he was like, "Oh, nah." But then this is damaging other people's property. Freedom of speech is like if I burn my own book, you can't burn my book. That's damaging my property. What are
Have
you
you
gonna do
heard
about
of
it?
the Satanic Verses?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so it's by an author called Salman Rushdie.
I don't want to read the book. I
can't read blood.
You don't want to
I know what I know.
I don't know how to
I know
read.
who that guy is. I know what he's talking about. So bullshit.
Bad man lollipop.
Put on BBC Media. I'm the one that's
That's lollipop.
There you go.
That's
Thank you for
actually
your
sucking
time.
on a
Thank
lollipop in between that.
Where is
My
it?
man's burning the book.
Oh,
He's actually burnt it.
Oh my
Where is he
god,
burnt?
yeah.
One of them. He's burning on the
Oh
way.
my god.
So, anyways, oh, there it is.
Yeah, so much for not being a stereotype. Not so much for not being a stereotype. Well done. Well
Not
done.
there.
So, anyways,
Yeah,
so that's
well done.
this is
Look
funny.
at
I always love it. But did you see how calmly he started? But anyway, at least he didn't stab the guy. You know,
Oof, the bar is low, Haris Sultan. The bar is low, my friend.
it is low. It is low.
Enrique
But,
saying this must be Britain. Yes, unfortunately, this is Britain indeed.
Come on, then.
You want some? I'll give it ya.
Where do you want to go, love? Okay, all right. So that was okay. We just ended on a funny note with what's been happening in Sweden. Aluza is saying, Haris Sultan, I would rather avoid burning books, to be honest. Yeah, well, it's up to you, but you shouldn't be killed if you chose not to or chose to burn one.
If you like these videos and want to support me in my activism, then you can support me on Patreon or PayPal. Stay free, everyone!